Today, I'm here to say legacy is not about street names or monuments. It lives in the hearts of the people. True legacy is built on the actions, values, and influence one leaves behind. It cannot be forced upon the public by renaming streets or institutions. Yet in Nigeria, we repeatedly see the people in government trying to create a legacy through the simple act of renaming, but it misses the true meaning of what it means to be remembered. One of such examples is the ongoing attempt to rename the University of Maiduguri to Muhammadu Buhari University. Also recall the failed attempt by the Goodluck Jonathan administration to rename Unilag to Moshood Abiola University in 2012. While some may view it as tribute, many see it as an attempt to politicize education, sidelining the university's established history. It can serve as a symbolic gesture of respect, but also be perceived as an imposition that disregards local sentiments and historical significance. Now, similarly, renaming of streets in certain areas, like the Ibitayo Street in Magodo Phase 2 in Lagos, which is now Obasa Mudashiru Street, and Charly Boy Street or Charly Boy Bus Stop, which is now called Olamide Baddo Bus Stop, underscores a broader debate about the balance between honoring national figures and preserving regional and local identities. Renaming streets every few decades is a sign that the government isn't building anything new. Rather than changing names, we should focus on teaching the younger generations about these figures and their real contributions to history, if any. Naming a street after someone loses its meaning over time. How many people truly think of Obafemi Awolowo when they drive on Awolowo Road in Ikoyi? How long will this false legacy you try to create for yourself last? Until the next power-hungry, legacy-grabbing group of people takes over? Now think about it. True legacy is defined by love and respect you inspire in others, the lives you touch, and the change you instigate. Also note that without embedding these figures through legacies in our education, renaming places becomes nothing more than a lazy, sycophantic attempt to appease your ego and maybe some group of people.
Yeah, Elsie, I agree with you that there's just too much sycophancy going on. And maybe your example of Awolowo Road was not a good one because those are actually the kind of people that
will deserve
you should name these things
so
after.
My question is, do you remember them when you're driving past?
We do, some of us do. And the good thing is that they were not roads that were existing. Then they now changed them to Awolowo Road. Mm-hmm. They built a road and named it Awolowo. If you want to name a university after anybody, why not build one? You talked about historical significance of institutions. It's very important. I know in the UK for sure there are buildings you can't even renovate. The class buildings, class A, B, C. There are some, even if it's your own, they'll tell you this is a class A building. You can't even, just to preserve the nature of that. You can imagine the history of University of Lagos or being made, and you now want to change it to somebody. Build a new university and then name it after someone who is gone, which is fine that in this case, it's even after somebody who is gone. The main problem is people naming things after themselves while they're even still in office. I really don't see, there should be some modesty, some decorum, you know. People should not be seen to be chasing honor. You know, philosophers will tell that honor is more honorable when it's being given to you, not you being seen that you are always trying to grab honor.
Okay, I will start by saying I think of Awolowo whenever I pass by Awolowo. And I think of Uzumba and Badiwe, which is a road I pass more often whenever I'm passing by. My favorite part of the advocacy is the fact that legacy is built by actions, values, and influence one leaves behind, and it cannot be forced upon the public. I absolutely agree with that. But then again, legacy is subjective. Like what I think is important may not be what the president thinks is important. We are different people. At the end of the day, responsibility of such actions rests on the leadership. Beyond that, I also like the fact that renaming things indicates that new things are not being built. I agree with you. Like Anders said, if you want to rename something, build. You know, if you want to institutionalize a legacy, it's easier to create it from scratch and let it align with the person's identity and values, rather than just, you know, doing renaming whenever it is. Anybody come on and, you know, decide they don't like the current name or they want to impress somebody else. I would take your line that says an imposition that disregards local sentiments and historical significance. That's what I wrote down from there. Ande and Zuma already spoke about the Obafemi Awolowo parts. I was going to ask, are you sure that people don't think about them? But we already have someone here who's saying that. But then again, let me just quickly say that using Obafemi Awolowo, just as Ande said, is just, it doesn't. Obafemi Awolowo was a premier. He was an iconic person in the Western region. He was a hero. The industrial hubs.
Before you go on, sorry. So the question I asked, if you look at the advocacy again, the point is that if you want to honor somebody you're mentioning now, Obafemi Awolowo, right? It needs to go back into our history books so that people understand what these people have done, and
they
not
do.
just.
You're just assuming they
You
don't.
are sure they do. If you go and ask
They
the Judge
do.
Zina, they do.
You know, but let's leave that aside. What I really want to talk about, and it's good that you've mentioned Ozumbamba Way, it's the same Lagos City. There's Muhammadu Buhari Way. You know, so when something happens, we should not just forget the precedents that we have before. We should just look at that singular event and draw from everywhere to say, okay, this is right or this is not right. I hope I'm making sense. This is one thing I like.
The wrong way.
Yes, this is one thing I like. True legacy is defined by love and respect you inspire in others, the lives you touch, and the change you instigate. Awolowo stands for all of this, all right? And in the matter of naming streets, this is the thing about Nigeria. This is what we should work on. We're talking about settlers, right? The fact that I should be in Umuahia, I lived in Umuahia for a long time, that I'm in Umuahia and I've done something in Umuahia to inspire some people, and they name a street after me. Not because I'm from this part of Nigeria or I'm from that part of Nigeria. Just last week, there was this street naming matter between Ebonyi and Anambra as well. So you see, it's not just between tribes. And just to contextualize this, there's nowhere we've seen what Charly Boy did in that place. He did not get that bus stop officially. There is nothing to show that there was once a Charly Boy Bus Stop that was changed. If anybody names a street after him, my father has a street named after him. Why? Because we've been there for a long time and we did the road there. So he has a street named after. If you don't have all of that, then let's not just get into unnecessary tension to say, no, you must have. The people who administer the place say they're naming streets, and it's good that you said there are other Yoruba names too that are being changed. So let's not just hit up the politics.
I don't think it was coming from a tribal perspective. On this Charly Boy matter.
No, not her.
Okay, yeah, okay. But like on
the
this Charly Boy matter,
yes,
right?
yes.
There is a reason why people start calling there's Select Junction because there's a big Select Church. Why are you changing it? Sometimes names grow with the community. Charly Boy used to live there. Charly Boy, why change it? That was my view, though. Like,
so I think that what Elsie is essentially saying in her advocacy is that government should stop being lazy. What Goodluck could have just done would have either, MK was known for being a footballer, someone who supported football, and do something, a monument after him and all that. The whole idea of, and what annoys me the most is not even about honoring people and getting, it's about the fact that you are in office, you will build something, or you will rename something after yourself. Don't we have shame? Imagine we are talking about Chief Obafemi Awolowo. We are talking about Ozumbamba Way. This man who was in charge of the Southeast region back in the day, Michael Okpara.
Yes.
Those were people who sat down and did something for the people. Do something that people would remember and honor you for when you are gone. Don't force honor on us. We don't honor you when you don't do anything right.
Anyway, we're a nation in desperate need of a true unifying identity. Renaming streets to exalt our egos won't get us to the promised land.
Interesting, Elsie. Actions speak louder than words, names and titles. Let's put the Women Economic Empowerment Policy into action and truly bridge the gender gap.